William Burnett is here as well. And I let him know that it was going to be a while. Yeah.
What's your name, sir?
Kevin Patton. I had technical difficulties.
Have a seat.
With the Zoom.
Back, second row back, please.
Second row back.
Yeah, we'll pick you up on a. iPad. It's going to be a while. I'm just going to tell you that.
Okay.
The lawyers are very backed up, so just have a seat. Back on the record with People versus Shariva Erosius. Ms. Sutter, what does your client wish to do today?
Your Honor, she's going to be pleading guilty to the violation.
Is that what you want to do today, Ms. Erosius?
Say that again. I'm sorry. It's loud where I'm at. Say that again.
My understanding, you wanted to enter a guilty plea to the violations. Is that true?
Yes.
No one has forced you or threatened you to do that?
No.
No one's made any promises to entice you to do that?
No. No.
You understand that by entering a plea today, you'd be giving up your right to a hearing on this matter?
Yes.
Ma'am, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, under penalty of perjury?
Yes.
And Ms. Erosius, is it true that you've been on probation with this court?
Yes.
Since October of 2021?
Yes.
And part of those terms and conditions were that you not have any use or possession of alcohol or controlled substances?
Yes.
Is it true you tested positive for alcohol at Adam on November 15th, 2021?
Yeah,
Satisfied with that plea, Ms. Sutter?
I am, Your Honor.
Court is satisfied the defendant's plea freely, knowingly, and voluntarily. And Ms. Orosius, I want to read to you what you told me at your plea taking. I don't want to be in this situation again. And what have you done for yourself? I put you back in the same situation.
I didn't. It's not. The problem is, I don't know. My lawyer can explain it to you more. I'm pregnant, so I didn't have anything to drink. So how the ETG, whatever that is, came back is what bothers me. So, but I've been doing nothing but what I'm told to do. So, I mean,
Ms. Sutter?
Yes, Your Honor, I did speak with her about that. From my reading of the report, it did come back positive for ETG. I did some research into that. My understanding of what ETG is ethyl glucuronide, which is a marker of a long period alcohol still in the system. So it is common to test or to kind of come up in people who have had a alcohol issue, and it doesn't necessarily come after immediate alcohol consumption. It stays in the system for a long period of time after alcohol consumption. And that was a discussion I had with her. So she does acknowledge that she did test positive for that ETG, even if she had not immediately consumed alcohol before that.
Sure. That's why we do those, Ms. Orosius, so we catch people drinking and they don't try to game the system. So,
yeah, I don't drink. I'm a high risk pregnancy, so I'm not drinking anything. I can guarantee you that.
well, what we're going to do with this regard to this violation is add some urine screens and blood tests 3 times a month to ensure that you're being compliant with those terms and conditions and we're not missing anything.
Okay.
And you need to be in your substance abuse, and I'm not sure why we haven't had those assessments done. I did.
That's because me and Brendan have been trying to find something that takes my insurance, and we couldn't find nobody. So he just recently found somebody last week, and they'd want $250 before they even sign me up. So that's not going to be able to be started until next week.
Well, the idea to get you a substance abuse and a mental health assessment as soon as possible is going to be appropriate for you so that we can make sure that we're ensuring the appropriate rehabilitative programs during this term of probation.
Okay.
Understand that, Ms. Rose? Yes, I don't want to have to see you back here on another violation.
You won't.
All right, thank you, ma'am. You're all set with the court.
Thank you.
And I have Cameron Walker for you. Were you able to find Miss Robinson or anyone to?
I had reached out to her. I believe she was logging on, but it might be easier just to walk to her office really quickly and verify that she can log on and help.
Sure. And then I'll bring in Mr. Walker after, Cameron Walker after that.
Thank you very much. I'll be right back.
Did you have anyone show on a no contact order violation on Mr. Walker?
Judge, I was gonna ask if we could put this over. I believe this is stemming from a new felony case, and it looks like the PCC is on actually tomorrow. So
We'll wait till she comes
Sure,
back.
sure.
Okay, thanks. The PE on that would have been,
for Walker,
yeah.
it looks like the exam on Walker is set for the 6th.
So if I gave the 19th, then there would have been some movement on that other case.
It looks like it's set for PCC tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Sutter.
Thanks.
With regard to Walker, Ms. Murphy has informed me that this is stemming from a new felony case that he has, and so they were going to be requesting adjournment after at least the PCC, and I just wanted you to know that as you're talking
Yes,
to Mr. Walker.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to request too, Your Honor. I believe I did bring that up last week. But yeah, he is set for a PE the week after next. Or next week, I'm sorry.
I can give you the 19th at 11:30, and I'll let you have a chat with Mr. Walker with that.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank you. Mr. Walker, I'm going to put you in a breakout room with Ms. Sutter.
Okay.
Room 4, ma'am. Ms. Sutter, anything else for your record with regard to Mr. Walker?
Nothing further, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Walker. You are all set today. Appreciate you joining us by Zoom.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. And were you able to assist with some of Mr. Franklin's? Tressa Donovan is a sentencing.
Okay.
And Ms. Donovan, are you still there?
Yes, I am.
Breakout room with Ms. Sutter. Have a conversation prior to sentence.
Pardon?
I'm going to put you in a breakout room with Ms. Sutter from the Public Defender's Office so you can discuss your pre-sentence report.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Rockford with People versus Daniel Haley. 2002026. This matter was scheduled for probation violation arraignment today at 10:30. It's now 11:46. Defendant has failed to appear. The court will enter a bench warrant and bond forfeiture. Good morning, Mr. Petrovich. This afternoon. Are you stepping in to help Mr. Franklin?
Yes, Ms. Sutter asked for backup, so.
I appreciate that. I'm going to bring in Davion Molitor. Today was a date and time scheduled for a probation violation hearing. And Mr. Molitor, I'm going to place you in a breakout room with Mr. Petrovich. He's with the Public Defender's Office on your case.
Okay.
Really careful this in the hallway.
Okay.
till Monday.
Yeah.
Well, what's today, Tuesday, next Tuesday, 7-day rule. I don't know if she got it in yesterday or today. but-
We just got underneath the door today.
Okay. A red file with this somewhere. We could put that in the red file. We had the same problem yesterday with Ms. Donovan. I can't get her out of that breakout room. Something to do with her phone.
Hmm.
Without
Wait up.
closing out everybody. I
Oh, okay.
don't want to do that.
do you want me to hop back into that breakout room and tell her to hang up and call back in?
That would be great. That would be a great way to do that. Thank you.
Sure thing, I'll do that.
Nice thinking, Sutter.
Problem.
Thank you. That same thing yesterday. I'm running around the phone,
Yeah,
but
that's
it didn't
weird.
work.
She called in?
Yeah, and it was like 1-888.
Oh,
It's weird. Ms. Layton, do we need to know anything else? We are live streaming right now, so.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Franklin, you all good?
Yeah, Your Honor, we've had a really good conversation.
All right, and so that's set for next. I think, I can't remember the date I gave you and Mr. Harrell.
January 3rd, 11 a.m.
All right, Mr. Harrell, we'll see you at that time. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
You're free to leave the Zoom meeting.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you, guys.
Absolutely.
And Mr. Franklin, Ms. Sutter, taking care. Ms. Donovan and Mr. Petrovich is taking care of Devin Molitor. And I
Okay.
have for you Porter. Mr. Porter, are you still there?
Yeah.
I'm going to put you in a breakout room with Mr. Franklin.
All right.
Room 2, Mr. Franklin. We are back on the record. People versus Tressa Donovan. Date and time for sentence. Sutter, if the two of you had an opportunity to review that pre-sentence report,
We have, Your Honor.
are there any additions, deletions, or corrections?
One correction to make, in the report prepared by Ms. Otten, at the time of the interview, she was unsure whether or not Ms. Donovan was regularly attending therapy or treatment with CMH. Ms. Donovan informs me she is. She has a regular counseling meeting with a therapist with CMH. She also regularly sees a doctor with CMH over Zoom. So that is something that she is currently doing on a regular basis.
Thank you. Any allocution on behalf of your client?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. After having spoken with Ms. Donovan and having been kind of witness to what's happened with her case so far, Ms. Donovan is a woman who kind of admits that she does have some struggles with mental health and has been trying to kind of address them and is hopeful that she will continue addressing them and improving and being able to move forward from mistakes she has made and make right on them, as well as improve her own life for the sake of both herself and the people that she interacts with. She has plans as to how to do this in terms of, one, staying in contact with CMH, as well as utilizing any mental health treatments available to her through probation, as well as finding herself new and stable housing where she is in a better and safer place for both her and the people around her. She takes this seriously. She knows that this was not a matter that was taken lightly. She obviously had a trial on it, and the decision of her peers is something that she is willing to stick to and accept the recommendation of probation. And so I would respectfully request that the court do accept the recommendation of probation in terms of the 12-month term of probation for Ms. Donovan. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Donovan, is there anything that you would like to tell the court today prior to your sentence?
No, Your Honor.
All right. The court has had an opportunity to review your pre-sentence report, and obviously we had the jury trial back in September, so familiar with the facts and circumstances here. The court reviewed the risk assessment that was done, which would indicate you had a moderate to high risk in need of rehabilitative services. So the court is believing that probation is warranted in this case, and currently being unemployed. I'm happy to hear that you have a regular session with CMH and that you're dealing with a physician by Zoom, because that's the really the steps that we want you to continue to take during this period of time, Ms. Donovan, so that we can get the sort of regulated and back on a path of positive action on your part. So I'm happy to see that you're doing that, and that's what the order of the court's going to be today. There are some fines and costs that are assessed in this case. There is a fine of $75 and court costs of $100, a $75 crime victim fee and $50 state minimum costs. The probation will be for 12 months, and that carries with it a $30 per month supervisory fee. You're not to have any kind of assaultive, threatening, or harassing behavior. You're not to have any use or possession of alcohol, marijuana, or controlled substances unless you have a prescription for them. If you're taking prescription meds, we want to know what they are and that you're taking them according to the prescription. You're not to, and you need to submit yourself to some random breath tests and urine screens to ensure that you're being compliant with the court's orders. The court is ordering that mental health counseling and any kind of follow-up services through CMH. Do you understand those
Yes,
terms
Your
and
Honor.
conditions? All right. I do need you to
Yes.
report to the probation department within the next 48 hours. We are closed Thursday and Friday, so today or tomorrow, you're going to want to take care of that. And they'll go over you with these requirements for probation and assist you in being successful on your year's term of probation. Do you understand that?
Yes.
All right. And you've contacted them by phone before or Zoom, haven't you?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
By
So you know
Zoom.
their number, and just check in with them, and they'll hook you up with a probation officer who's going to guide you through this term of probation.
Yes, Your Honor.
You don't have any questions, Ms. Donovan? You are all set with the court today. Thank you for appearing by Zoom.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Check in with probation. And Ms. Sutter, I have Jeremy, no, he's with Jeremy Porter. Do we have another iPad that we can get for Mr. Patton? Okay. Patton, we're gonna get you on a iPad, so we'll put you in a breakout room with a lawyer. This is Mr. Patton's first pretrial on a domestic violence charge.
Okay. And that's Kevin Patton, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you very much.
We had to go find another courtesy iPad. He showed up here late. He had some Zoom difficulties earlier today.
I see, okay.
On the record, People versus Kevin Patton, 2102489, date and time scheduled for pretrial conference, council appearances.
Crystal Murray for the people, Your Honor.
Good morning, or good afternoon now, Your Honor. Assistant Public Defender Lauren Sutter appearing today on behalf of Mr. Patton.
Thank you. Mr. Patton, I'm going to be placing you in a breakout room with Ms. Sutter to discuss your case. She is with the Public Defender's Office. There
Okay,
should be a prompt that comes on the screen to have you join that breakout room 4.
all right.
McDowell was brought over for the exam at 1.
He was written from another county. We can check and make sure he's here.
Okay.
Okay, all right, thank you, I appreciate it. I'll check that, They left to go get him, but they haven't returned yet.
Oh. You're back on the record, People versus Davion Molitor, 2100439. Mr. Petrovich, what did you say regarding this probation violation?
Yes, Your Honor. I've had a chance to speak to Mr. Molitor this morning. He indicated that he is willing to admit to the violations today.
Is that what you want to do, Mr. Molitor?
Yes, ma'am.
No one's forced you or threatened you to do that?
No, ma'am.
No one's made any promises to entice you to plead guilty to these violations?
No, ma'am.
You understand by entering a guilty plea, you'd be giving up your right to a hearing and proceeding with Mr. Petrovich as your lawyer.
Yes, ma'am.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, under penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Molitor, is it true that you've been on probation with this court?
Yes, ma'am.
And we actually had to extend your probation because you weren't doing the things that you needed to do originally.
Correct.
And as of November 19th, you failed to pay your fines and costs. You still owe the original balance.
Correct.
You have not submitted yourself to random breath tests and urine screens.
Correct.
And you did complete a gun safety course, which was literally the only thing we had you doing on this matter.
Correct.
Satisfied with that plea, Mr. Petrovich?
Yes, I am satisfied.
Satisfied the pleas are freely, knowingly, and voluntarily given, they will be accepted. Mr. Petrovich, allocution on behalf of Mr. Molitor.
Yes, Your Honor. In speaking to Mr. Molitor this morning, it seems like a lot of this derives from his difficulty in maintaining employment. And I do have positive news on that. He indicates that he interviewed and was accepted to work at Miko's Tire Shop on Waverly and South Holmes, which is a job that will be starting actual work next week, the first week of January. And he is, and as far as the gun safety course, in reviewing the materials that Mr. Ledesma forwarded on this that were on the file, it seems that near the end of November, he provided the name of a provider of that course. And Mr. Molitor informs me that he was reaching out to him as soon as the first week of December, shortly after receiving that information, and that individual did not have openings until January effectively to complete that. So it does seem that he has a plan to complete that gun safety course. It's just a matter of availability for that as well. And he does also have, is developing the means to complete paying off of his fines and being able to pay for his drug tests on that. I did notice that in the paperwork, Mr. Ledesma indicates that he would recommend there being a test within 24 hours to demonstrate that Mr. Molitor is coming back clean. And I certainly think that that would be something that is appropriate, but I do think that Mr. Molitor is set to be able to basically continue this to do what he needs to do to earn his HIDA status to complete his probation. So I'd ask that Your Honor continue the probation at this point.
Mr. Porter, what is it about you that is, or excuse me, Mr. Molitor, what is it keeping you from keeping a job? Why can't you keep any of these jobs you get?
The last job that I had, the first paycheck was like around $200 to $300, and I worked in a warehouse, and the security guards made more and worked longer hours. And I had spoke to the manager of the security guards, and she told me to apply on break, and that same day to tell them that I found a better job, like a different job with longer hours. And then I told them that, and then I called her the next 2 days, and she told me that they hired 2 other people, and that she'd tell me when there's an open position. So since then, I've been looking for a job. And that was 3 to 4 weeks ago.
Mr. Molitor, you know, you don't throw one job away until you got another one. And $200 or $300 a week is better than zero. And you can be in compliance with the terms and conditions. My thought is something else is keeping you from taking these jobs. You're not getting up in the morning. What? You're not showing up on time?
It was just that, honestly. I was looking for a job since then, and I don't know really.
Why did you lose the job that you had? Because you applied for a secondary job? I don't understand that. Explain that to me.
When she spoke to me, she basically guaranteed me the job. Like, I applied on Indeed at St. Moritz, and she like guaranteed me the job that I would be. She said, we need people and you will be working in no time.
People will do a lot of this, you know, when you're looking at maybe something in your background keeps you from getting a security job. What do you think? Perhaps
I'm
not
not
fulfilling your probation, perhaps having a bench warrant for a probation violation. These are things that you need to think about, Mr. Molitor, as you move forward. This case should have been taken care of months ago, before this most recent November. You're telling me about this job that you just lost. I think we sentenced you back in April of 2021 to 6 months probation, right?
Correct.
This has been an ongoing theme with you, Mr. Molitor. Light a fire under you. Got one opportunity to get this done. I have to extend your probation again just to give you the time to get it done. the next judge who comes and sits in here will look at this and go, oh, 4 violations? I just as soon see you go to jail for 30 days and take care of it in that sense. So your lawyer has been advocating for you that you are going to get this job, you're going to get the payments done, and you are going to get this case taken care of. We can't keep dragging people to do it. I think my probation officer is working harder than you in doing what you need to do. You have the funds to get a drug test within the next 24 hours?
No, ma'am.
Was that a yes or a no?
No.
Sorry, I should have asked that before making that statement. My apologies.
Yeah. Give you an opportunity to continue this probation, but the court is also ordering 3 days in jail. You can report Friday, December 31st at 6 p.m. through January 2 at 6 p.m. We're serious about you completing these terms and conditions on time this time. We'll extend your probation 3 months to allow you to do all the things that you need to do. And if you're not done in those times, you're gonna serve 30 days in jail to close out the file. So hopefully within the next 3 months, you can do the things that you need to do. 3 days upfront jail for these continued violations. And hopefully next week you can start that job and get things going for yourself. All right.
Okay.
All right. So contact your probation officer so that they can follow up with you and make sure that you're going to be completing all these things on time.
Okay.
You're all set today, sir.
Thank you.
All right, we have Ms. Sutter with Mr. Porter, or I'm sorry, who had Mr. Porter?
Afternoon, Your Honor.
For the
Joshua Franklin
record.
on behalf of Mr. Porter.
All right, Jeremy Porter, 2002759. Today was the date and time scheduled for a probation violation hearing. What did your client wish to do today, Mr. Franklin?
Your Honor, I believe at the last hearing, my client pled guilty for not reporting for drops in April and May. And today was a date to determine what type of sanctions should be assessed for that. I was also trying to give him an opportunity to get documentation of completion of his domestic violence programming. I have sent that to the court. I didn't know if he has got that to probation. I don't know if probation supplied that to the court. But that was to help the court in determining what type of sanction would be for his violation that he pled to. If the court would like, I can reiterate some of the.
I have the PATS discharge now from 11/11/21. I don't see anything about the testing issues.
Oh, that he previously pled guilty.
Right. I thought you said he complied with the terms and conditions.
Yes, he's been tested. I don't have any allegations that he's been missing his testing or that he's tested positive.
Well, the violations are from June 3 of 2021. He failed to appear in July for a probation violation arraignment. He finally was picked up in December. And we had that hearing on the 7th. He pled guilty to the violations. One of them was that he didn't attend his DV group, and now the DV group I'm dismissing because I do have the completion form that apparently he never provided to probation because they wouldn't have kept that on if they did. But you said that he also said, oh, I was testing, and I'm still sure that he's failed to submit the test on 4/28, 5/6, 5/21.
Those are correct.
Okay. So what's an allocution on behalf of your client?
Well, Your Honor, it appears that there was definitely some missteps early on in this probation. With my client missing some testing. He previously, had a probation violation this court's aware of. But since that, he's got a great job. He's making auto parts. He's got stable housing. He did complete his domestic violence classes. And I believe the reason that we're here today is because my client got in touch with probation because he wasn't getting a response. He was actually unaware that his probation agent had left, and he was continuing to email that individual. And it was just, there's a lot of room there for him to fall off the face of the map. But he didn't do that. Like I said, he went forward, completed his classes. I believe his fees and fines are still outstanding. And part of that is, it took him a little bit to get a good job and stable housing. But all these things kind of working against him. He continued to show up to court in person, and he's here to accept responsibility for his violations that happened early on. And I think that says a lot about Mr. Porter, and him coming through what he's come through. Not perfect, but it definitely I hope will show to him in the future that when adversity presents itself, he's come through in the past, and he can continue to move forward and make strides in the future, and not let a pebble in the road stop him from making that progress. So I would just ask the court to take all this into consideration and craft a sanction that, obviously recognizes his failings, but also recognizes where he's made gains and strides.
Mr. Porter, is there anything that you want to tell the court today?
I'm pretty good. I did miss the test, and pretty much to just deal with the matter at hand.
You did complete the domestic violence program. My records still show you have a total balance still due and owing the court of $1,035.
I can
Terminate your probation and revoke the 7694A. The fines and costs are going to be referred to collections. I'm going to work with you today to talk with someone in our collections division, so you work a payment plan on that remainder payment. Otherwise, you're all set with the court today.
Okay.
We'll be right with you, and we'll hook you up with someone from collections.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you as well.
People versus Kevin Patton, 2102489. Council appearances.
Good afternoon, Assistant Public Defender Lauren Sutter appearing today on behalf of Mr. Patton.
Today, Ms. Sutter.
Your Honor, we're just going to be setting for a final pretrial.
$119 at 11:30.
Was that 11:30 that you said, Your Honor?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. And People versus William Burnett, 2003239. This matter was scheduled for PV and PVH at 11:30. Council appearance.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Joshua Franklin here on behalf of Mr. Burnett.
Again, this matter was scheduled at 11:30. It's now 12:29. Defendant failed to appear. A bench warrant bond forfeiture.
Your Honor, I had a long conversation with him yesterday. Is it okay if I can see if he can get on at 1 o'clock?
I've got 2 prelims at 1 o'clock.
Okay, I'll try to reach out to him and see if I can get him on.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Patton, my clerk will be there shortly to retrieve that iPad.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
The terms and conditions of your bond and the no contact order stay in force in effect.
Okay.
Thank you.